Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, "Satan is not a pogo stick." The original OP is, "I'm not cheating though." Posted to r/relationships, April 30th, 2015. I'm 23 female, a student teacher. My fiance, 24 male, is convinced I'm cheating with my master teacher. This has made him go insane. Content warning for infidelity, gaslighting, and threats of throwaway, because my fiance loves to stalk my main account. My freshman year of college, I began dating my fiance. He proposed to me last Christmas. He seemed like the kind of guy I'd want to spend my life with. His own freshman year of college, he dated his best friend from high school, and she cheated on him, often, and gaslit him about it. This led to him having trust issues. They were more pronounced when we first started out, and I actually broke up with him for 2 months because of them. But I thought he'd gotten better. Until now. I'm getting my master's education, aiming to eventually teach high school English. And this past semester, I've been student teaching. My master teacher, essentially mentor, is a really great guy and has been really helpful to me. He's also very married, and I would never cheat with him because I have zero attraction to or feelings for him whatsoever. The nature of the job means I spend a lot of time with him, and I also talk to him a lot outside of class to get feedback. For the past 2 months, my fiancé has interpreted me spending so much time with another man as cheating on him. He told me outright that he doesn't trust other men to not make a move on a woman, even if he's married, and called me a liar when I told him I've never even considered cheating on him because everyone thinks about it. He's begun to text me when I'm in class, which is really rude and distracting, and when I don't answer, he's convinced me and my master teacher are having sex somewhere. I've tried everything to salvage this before we get married, which is scheduled to happen in June. At first, I thought it was all my fault. I limited my contact with my master teacher to work, and I stopped letting him buy me coffee, like he did at the beginning of my practicum. My fiancé still wasn't happy. I asked him to go back to counseling to handle his trust issues, and he refused. Because he feels wronged, but I want this to work because I love you. I think about leaving, but that means rebuilding my life and losing a lot of money for my parents. They bought me my wedding dress. I've been clinging to the hope that he would go back to normal once my practicum was over, but I can't do that anymore. Last night, I finally asked him what the hell was his problem, and after reasserting that I was cheating on him with my master teacher, he was sure of it. He told me that he wanted me to stop pursuing my certification, basically because he doesn't want me to work with other men. I told him how ridiculous he was being, and he went into a rage that ended with him punching a hole in the wall. I left the house and went to my sister's where I am right now. I'm scared and I don't want to marry the man he is right now, but I know the person he is when trust issues aren't poisoning his brain, and I feel like I have to try to get that person back. He's been texting me apology upon apology and promising to go to counseling again, but I don't know if he's just trying to lure me back to our house. I love him so much, and I know who he is when he's not like this. Part of me is still convinced that I need to cut ties with my master teacher or wait for my practicum to end and he'll be back to normal. But I know I can't be with a person who doesn't trust me and doesn't want me to work because of it. I don't know what to do, and I'm not cheating on him. Edit to all the people saying that I have secret feelings for my master teacher. No. I worded a post awkwardly, and now I'm getting crucified. So I'm clarifying here. I have no contact with him outside of school, and we don't talk about anything but work. It's a strictly professional relationship and always has been. Too long didn't read, my fiancé is convinced that I'm cheating with my master teacher without any basis. This is making him suspicious and angry. I'm considering calling off our wedding because he wants me to forego my certification. He has so little trust in me. Is there any way to return him to the way he was? Relevant comments. JD Yun 02. It's rare that someone gets the chance to stop what will one day be known as the biggest mistake of my life. This is your chance. User Major Read comments. Just putting it out there, OP, if you're not cheating on him now and he's accusing you of doing so, how are you so sure his ex was a cheater exactly? I mean, violent wall-punching, controlling, paranoid asshat aside, why the fuck are you accepting his previous relationship as an excuse to treat you shitty? You're aware that in his next relationship, he's going to say you cheated and gaslit him throughout the relationship, right? Opie responds, I mean, I believed him because at the time, I had no reason not to. Depressing. User Major Read comments. I do have a follow-up question, and it's a bit direct. Knowing the whole spectrum of his behavior as you do now, without pretending that this isn't like him, if it was, he wouldn't have done it, are you still going to stay with him? Opie responds, I probably won't unless he shows me unequivocally that he wants to fix his issues by going to therapy and genuinely retracting his statements about wanting me to quit my program. Either way, the wedding is not happening in June. User Biff aka Levy comments, I love him so much and I know who he is when he's not like this. But this is who he is. He's not possessed when he acts like this. This is part of his character. He will forever attempt to police your interactions with men. All these arguments every day for the rest of your life. Your mentor is just his current target. The men are interchangeable. Opie responds, I always tried to be understanding of his trust issues because they weren't his fault. It always felt like something I had to coddle because they were the result of him being hurt so badly. Deleted user comments, I really didn't need to read past this. Throwaway because my fiance loves to stalk my main account. B then stupid me did and I found these gems. He told me outright that he doesn't trust other men to not make a move on a woman, even if he's married. At first I thought it was all my fault. I limited my contact with my master teacher. He told me he wanted me to stop pursuing my certification, basically because he doesn't want me to work with other men. He went into a rage that ended with him punching a hole in the wall. Part of me is still convinced that I need to cut ties with my master teacher. Honestly, I feel like reaching through the computer and giving you a cuff upside the head. Why are you still with this person? There are just so many things wrong here. If you stay with him, you will have nothing but pain and sorrow in your life. Please wake the fuck up and realize you deserve so much better. You deserve somebody that loves you and supports you. Opie responds, the whole, but besides all that, he's great, cliche. Right now I'd hesitate to call him a great guy, but he treated me well enough to make me want to marry him after I first put my foot down about the trust issues years ago. I thought we were over that problem. I have been worried he was just projecting. Opie responding to, why use a throwaway to post this? He just knows my username and stalks my comments. I wrote this on my laptop at my sister's house. User Major Read comments, no offense, but doesn't it seem a bit over the top that you need to type this up under a fake name at your sister's house? How much have you normalized this behavior in your mind? How much are you willing to go through? He's going to say sorry and that he'll change, but you mentioned that you put your foot down on this matter over a year ago. Sweet talk isn't going to match reality, but it's a fun poison to drink when you want to normalize things. Opie responds, considering the circumstances, no. I don't think it's over the top. He was scaring me badly, so I left. And I already said he constantly looks at my main, alongside the rest of my social media. I think OP missed the fact that they were saying it's over the top, as in, don't you think that having to do this is over the top, as in like this is unacceptable and you should be looking at this as a symptom of the fact that your relationship isn't okay? Also, I am shocked not a single comment in the thread was included that mentioned the fact that he stated, everyone thinks about it in regards to cheating. I wouldn't be shocked if he's so paranoid because he currently is cheating on OP, and his previous relationship failed because he was the one who cheated, and he just simply Uno reversed it to make himself be the victim. And the reason why he's so paranoid is because, well, I'm doing it, so obviously they are too. That logic is not rare at all when covering these types of posts. Update, May 1st, 2015, the next day. Quick update, I know, but I was told to keep y'all posted, and a lot has happened to the point of this whole messy thing being resolved. I commented on my original post that I decided to meet up with my fiancé for coffee to tell him my reconciliation terms, and to definitely cancel the wedding. Well, I texted him saying this, but people in the original post had told me that he was likely projecting his own desire to cheat. This gave me a hunch, so I decided to check my other folder on Facebook to see if there was anything there. I'd heard of people being messaged about their partner's affairs and not getting them for ages because of the other folder. This actually happened to a friend of mine. Turns out my gut was right, and there was. A girl had messaged me 2 weeks before telling me my fiancé had been trying to get her to go out to drinks on Tinder. I got back to her, and to her credit, she immediately answered, telling me they'd been a match and they'd been in touch for a week, sexting and trying to make plans to meet up. She found out he was engaged because this girl and I have a mutual friend, one of my friends from my master's program. She sent me screen caps of their conversation, and they made me feel ill. I checked my own text conversations with him, and yep, he was messaging her, talking about how fuckable her tits are, while texting me, accusing me of sleeping with my master teacher. He works from home. The girl was really apologetic, but I told her it was not her fault. I almost want to buy her a bottle of wine. I'm so grateful to her. This whole thing was the final straw. I was done. This morning, my sister, her husband, and I drove to my fiancé's to move my stuff out. I told him in person that one of his Tinder girls had contacted me and that he was an asshole and a hypocrite, and that not only did I not want to marry him under any circumstances, but I never wanted to see him again. I gave him the ring back. He started sobbing and telling me that the girls from Tinder meant nothing. He tried to start in with accusing me of cheating again, but I shut that down right quick. My anger made me strong. I tried to be minimalist with my possessions, so we quickly got all the stuff out and into my sister's car. With him, the whole time, alternating between yelling and crying and insulting all of us and bargaining. Finally, in the driveway, when he realized I wasn't giving in and that I really was leaving him, he grabbed my arm and tried to prevent me from getting into my sister's car and pushed my sister's husband to the ground when he tried to get him to let go. He then threatened to kill himself if I left him. Well, I was done being emotionally held hostage, and I read this sub enough to know what to do. I called the police on the way back to my sister's and told them that my ex-fiancé was threatening. Thankfully, we were having a small courthouse wedding followed by dinner at my uncle's restaurant, who gave us a discount, so calling off the wedding isn't that bad for my finances. I'm sitting here now, drinking wine, eating Chipotle, and looking at apartments in the area so I won't mooch off my sister and brother-in-law forever. I'm sure I'll be hit by a tsunami of emotion in the coming days, but right now, I feel half numb and half relieved. Too long didn't read after being told my ex-fiancé was likely projecting on me. I checked my other inbox and found out he was cheating with girls on Tinder. I called off the engagement and broke up with him. User Keyed on Potatoes comments, "Fuck yeah, honestly I've been super worried about you since I read your first post. Your ex sounds terrifyingly similar to mine. You handled this like a fucking boss, and I'm so proud of you. Enjoy that Chipotle and get excited for the new life you're starting for yourself." One thing though, I want to strongly recommend changing your phone number, emails, Facebook, and any other means your ex might have to look you up or get in touch with you. Control freaks like this have been known to stalk. You're not directly out of his sights yet. If he tries to contact you again, you need to make sure you document everything. Opie responds, "I blocked him completely on Facebook and changed any passwords I had. I also had to delete my main Reddit account after 3 years. Sad face. Peace of mind is worth more though. I'm definitely going to look into changing my phone number. Thank you." User Attack Beta comments, "You know, the whole time I read your other post, I was thinking, that is some textbook projection there, OP. I can't say I'm happy I was right, but I'm glad you handled this like a champ." OP responds, "I'm really glad people pointed that out to me. In my head, I built him up as the ultimate anti-cheater because of his strong stance." I never would have guessed. Honestly, can't say I'm shocked. Kinda called it by accident there because that whole comment about everyone thinks of doing it. Shocking, the guy who said that was also simultaneously accusing his fiancée of cheating with her boss, essentially, / mentor, while simultaneously actively on Tinder. I am fully convinced that he just simply reversed the roles of his previous relationship and turned himself into the victim of his own actions. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, "Satan is not a pogo stick." The regional OP is Jammin727, posted to r/relationships August 1st, 2015. Me, 31 male, and my girlfriend, 25 female, signed a lease on a new apartment, and our roommate, 28 male, is livid. How do we handle this? A little background. My girlfriend, we'll call her Mary, and I have been dating for about 8 months. Things, honestly, between us are very good. We get along great. She loves my quirks, and I love hers. She has been living with her friend, the 28 male, we'll call him Vern, for 2 years, and they've been friends for about 6 years. I'm a graduate student. She works for the university, and Vern is a manager at a movie theater. For the last year, I lived in graduate student apartments, and she has lived with him for about 2 years. Marie and I decided we want to live together. So, since my lease was up at the end of June, and their lease was up in July, Marie and Vern both decided it was cool if I lived with them for a month, paying my share of the bills. They were intent on moving after their lease was up because Marie wants to be closer to work, and Vern has had multiple run-ins with the neighbors. Marie and I have never had any problems with the neighbors. That part is important, and I'll explain why later. The three of us decided to stay an extra month in the current place, at slightly increased month-to-month cost, just to get our finances in better order. About the same time, we had a group discussion and broached the concept of not getting a place together. Vern had said that he was exploring options of living on his own or with other people, as he wasn't sure if he wanted to live with a couple. Marie and I admitted we had been looking at getting a place on our own without him, as well, as we would prefer to live very close to campus, whereas Vern's workplace is kind of on the outskirts of town. This is where we left the conversation, and Marie and I both assumed that we would be getting our own place and he would be getting his own place. Cut to yesterday. Marie had been looking at apartments and found the perfect one for us. 3-minute walk from her work, 5-minute walk from the building we frequent the most for class, and about 7-minute walk from the local grocery store. Perfect for us, and a great price too. Well, since it's nearing the end of summer break here in a fairly large and busy college town, apartments are filling up. The people in the office tell us if we want that apartment, we had to fill out paperwork that day. So we do. No, we haven't given them any money yet. This was merely to reserve an apartment for the start of September. Marie is excited about living next to campus, and she posts it to Facebook, as some people do when they're excited. Now, I realize right there is a fuck up. We should have told Vern about it before any information ever got to Facebook. That was our bad. I can understand why he's upset, but he is acting very negatively to say the least. A little about Vern here, and this is simply my personal observation and is probably biased to some extent, but here we are. He is a very world is out to get me person. He views every single slight in his life as the grandest inconvenience. He constantly complains about his fellow managers, his employees, and his customers. He has had many confrontations with our neighbors, mainly over street parking, even calling the police on a few of them because he felt threatened. Marie and I get along fine with the neighbors. To me, he also seems very selfish. When Marie and I make dinner, we always ask if he wants some. We're always willing to share food, beer, whatever. Back in December, Marie was working a hellish 12-hour day at her job and had come back home to get a few things. She saw Red Bull in the fridge, which happened to be Vern's, and she asked if she could have it. He said, "No, it's mine," which is fine and all, but that same Red Bull is still in the fridge since last December. It's August now. To me, these events are very telling of who he is as a person. So, since he found out yesterday, he's having an absolute meltdown. He's been blasting us both on Facebook, calling Marie a dumb bitch and me a fat lazy asshole. Which I am sometimes, but whatever. Claiming we stabbed him in the back, leaving him high and dry, etc. The rent is usually due on the 10th, but he told us if we didn't have it by today, the 1st, that he would personally kick me out of the house. It should also be noted that he's only sending Marie messages. He hasn't spoken one word to me since. He has a right to be upset, but I don't think he should be this mad about it. Sending threatening messages to Marie and ignoring me completely, saying we had better stay out of his way? He still has a month to figure his shit out, which I think is plenty of time. Since our last chat about living arrangements a month ago, the subject hadn't been brought up since. Marie and I figured we were going our separate ways. I guess he assumed we would all continue to live together. The worst thing is, we still have a month here, in the same place with him. So, my questions are, ultimately, 1. Does he have a right to be totally livid, or am I being insensitive? 2. Should we or how do Marie and I handle living in a hostile environment for the next month? 3. Is this friendship worth salvaging? Too long didn't read, roommate found out on Facebook that my girlfriend and I are getting an apartment without him. Now he's overly pissed. Does he have a right to be? And how do we deal with this? Update 1, August 4th, 2015, 3 days later. So, just a quick update on the Vern situation for those of you who have read about it. He hasn't been sending either of us messages lately, but he has resorted to childish guerrilla warfare. When Marie and I were out in the backyard trimming bushes and pulling weeds, he locked the back door on us, so we'd have to walk around to the front to get back in the house. He packed up everything in the kitchen that was his. Fine, whatever. But I'm sure it was for the specific purpose of making sure we didn't touch his shit. Today he came home from work and is playing the radio so loud we can hear it clearly downstairs and outside. He still refuses to talk to either of us. The one thing I'm afraid of is that right now he's just doing petty shit to piss us off, but I'm concerned he might escalate his actions. Do we have legal recourse to take before he does? Too long didn't read, Vern is acting very childish, locking doors, playing radio/TV very loud. Do we have any legal recourse before he escalates things? Edit, maybe I should cross-post to r/legal advice. Update 2, August 15th, 2015, 11 days after the first update. So, for those of you following the saga of Vern, things have been pretty steady since the first update. He's still playing his music loud as shit and doing petty stuff around the house. Things did get more serious last night, though. He was playing his TV, loud as usual with his door open. And Marie texted him, "Can you shut your door, please?" Because she wasn't feeling well and needed to get some sleep. He launched into a text tirade at her, saying he was going to make our life hell for the next 2 weeks, and we were lucky he didn't put us in body bags. That sure as hell got screenshotted, saved, and backed up. She responded, "Whatever, we'll be done with this shit in 2 weeks." To which he responded, "Oh, it's going to be longer than 2 weeks, honey." But there is good news. We managed to scrounge up enough money and talk to our new landlords, and we're actually moving in 2 days. And we'll have about 4 or 5 friends there helping and making sure Vern doesn't try any shit. Marie did go to the sheriff's office to file a protective order, and she showed them the text he sent her. They did file a report, but they said because he hasn't done anything physical to us or our property, they can't file an emergency protective order right away, but they will have an officer on standby when we move. We went ahead and did the paperwork for a normal protective order, which should go into effect in 3 to 5 days. Oh, and tonight, when Marie and I were out getting food, he took all the light bulbs from the downstairs rooms and dumped out all the ice, and took the ice trays up to his room. Honestly, this stuff is kind of funny at this point. Too long didn't read, Vern threatened us, we got the police involved, we're moving in 2 days instead of 2 weeks, Vern is still being petty. Relevant comments. User Teeper comments, "What's this Vern guy like with you? I mean, just out of curiosity. If you were just to go to his room and be like, why the fuck are you texting my girlfriend all that horrible shit? How would he react? He sounds like a complete loon, so best of luck to you and your lady moving out. Hope he responds. Oh, he hasn't even looked at me since all this shit went down. No Facebook messages or texts either. He only texts these things to Marie because he knows he can get away with it, I think. He doesn't know me too well. I'm not going to confront him because I know how my temper is, and I have a pretty violent past that took a lot of self-reflection and therapy to get over. So it's in my best interest just to ignore him. Final update, August 18th, 2015, 3 days after the second update. I know some of you were expecting the end of the saga of Vern to be some epic, harrowing story of ass-kickery, vengeance, and redemption, but perhaps, disappointingly so, it ends with a whimper, not a bang. The morning after the last update, Vern had disappeared. He had left his stuff in his room, but there was no sign of him. On Saturday, Marie and I packed up all of our stuff, and on Sunday, we, with some friends, managed to get moved to our new place within the afternoon. As of yesterday, Vern is nowhere to be seen or heard from. Our theory is that the police called him about the protective order and he just left town for a few days. We have contacted our former landlords and sent them pictures of the house during move-out so they know that any damage done to the property would have been done by Vern. We've also told them that we'll come back and clean after Vern vacates the premises. Given the situation, we're fairly sure they'll allow us to do that. Oh, in the somewhat short time before he disappeared, Vern smeared shit, presumably his own, all over the downstairs toilet. Because, what the fuck? And so ends the saga of Vern for now. Too long didn't read, shit smearing, Vern disappears, and we moved without incident. I will say that taking all the light bulbs out is pretty funny, but that's where it ends, is right there. It starts with the light bulbs and ends with the light bulbs for things that are actually kind of comical. It's just such an incredibly petty inconvenience that I just can't help but to respect it. Like, Vern is so unreasonably angry at the idea of this couple moving out and living in their own place that he wants to inconvenience them. Okay, blaring the TV and a radio like a jackass. Sure, locking his door, locking them out of the house. Okay, fine. But there's something so perfectly malicious and just petty as shit about removing light bulbs. Like, you have to be a very specific kind of mad to draw that conclusion and then follow through with it. Still a dick move, mind you. But there is a part of me that has a bit of like a tip my hat to you kind of respect for the level of pettiness that has. But then I lose all respect for him when he goes and smears his own shit over the bathroom and sends death threats to his previous roommates. Like, come on, dude. Why couldn't you have just ended with the light bulbs or reorganized the silverware drawer or just weird shit like that? Like, you could have kept it just weirdly petty and annoying, but instead you got crazy. Like, an escalation that would have further been like, okay, you're being annoying as shit, but it's kind of funny, is if he went and removed all, like, the labels from the soup cans, or just stuff like that. I don't know why I'm giving him ammunition, but it's just, I don't know. Like, the thing is, his anger is so fundamentally unjustified. Your roommates are just moving out together as a couple when the lease ends. And they discussed this with you. And you agreed with them. And you're certainly not doing any favors to convince them to keep you around, Vern. You're kind of doing the exact opposite. If we keep Vern around, he's gonna smear shit on our walls and steal our fucking light bulbs and threaten us. Like, would you want you as a roommate? I certainly wouldn't. But like, damn, the light bulbs? Really? Like, you really gotta be pissed at someone to look at the home and go, what can I do to really inconvenience these people? Oh, I know. Take the fucking light bulbs. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, Satan is not a pogo stick. The original OP is Yannetti, posted to r/coworker stories, March 27th, 2026. Coworker keeps ghosting me during meetings she asked for. Honestly, I don't know what to do about this. I'm working a remote contract role with no schedule. It used to be a chill job for me, just me working independently and sending my finished work/updates primarily through email to my manager. Recently, we've had a new team member join. She's in a similar position as me, also remote, on contract, and we have some overlapping responsibilities that we need to work together on. I was excited about this at first, but I'm getting to the point now where I'm getting frustrated by how flaky and avoidant she is. As soon as she joined, I noticed she's very insistent that all of our conversations, even just small updates and check-ins, need to be done through virtual calls. I'm fine and all with this, but honestly, it's a confusing choice because 1, we're in different time zones, she's 3 hours behind where I am, and 2, this isn't our only responsibility. We both have either school or another job outside of this role. So, because of that, all of our conversations need to be coordinated in advance, which has begun to slow things down for me because I can't get started or advance on my work until these conversations happen. What's really making this frustrating is it's becoming a very regular thing for her to never show up and ghost me during the meetings that she requested. It's becoming a common routine where I'll join the meeting and have to wait up to 30 minutes for her to join. I'll send her a message during it asking if she can make it, only to receive a response either hours or days later with a simple, "Oh, sorry." There's never an excuse or explanation. Instead, she requests we do it instead on a later date. Then when I join that later meeting, the same thing happens again. I'm not even joking. I've had a request from her for a quick 5-minute call to answer something for her while she troubleshoots an issue continuously get pushed back and rescheduled by almost an entire month because she could never commit to the times she'd request. I got really irritated and eventually asked her to just write what she needs so I can get to it immediately, but no, she'd insist it needs to be done in a call. Finally, we're able to resolve it during our monthly check-in meeting with the manager. It literally went like this. Her, are you able to see this thing on your end? Me, no. Her, oh, okay. Seriously, that was all it was. I was able to get away with not needing to work closely on anything for a while after that, but recently, I'm now relying on her to get context on a project I need to do. And again, I'm dealing with the same routine. I wasn't able to join our check-in meeting at the beginning of the month. It got rescheduled last minute to a time I wasn't able to attend. So I asked her to please fill me in on what gets discussed and what I need to work on. She scheduled a meeting with me to discuss the project, and same thing. She never joins it. A week later, my manager sends us both a message asking for progress, and I message her again to please fill me in so I can work on it immediately. She responds a week later saying, a call would be suffice. Well, for 2 days now, I've given her my availability and asked her to call me whenever works best for her, and I'm getting ghosted again. I'm so over it. It's at the point now she's just withholding the information I need to do my work. And now, I'm about to miss the deadline for it. I don't understand the logic. She's not old. She appears to be around my age or younger. So I don't understand her reliance on everything needing to be discussed verbally. It's like impossible for her to just write things down. I was trying to theorize why she's like this with my partner. I thought maybe it gives her an excuse to put things off, or maybe that she's just doing everything as a meeting to look more professional, but then gets anxious last minute and avoids them. But at this point, it's starting to almost feel malicious and deliberate, which is also odd to me since she's relatively nice when I'm able to talk to her. I'm not sure what to do or if it's worth bringing this up with my manager since this is only a contract role. I'm trying my best to find another position at the moment, but it's taking some time. Edit. For more context, I have let my manager know about this. After he requested updates, I followed up with a private message letting him know I've been unable to get in contact with this coworker. No direct evidence or screenshots yet. My manager has sent another message directed at the coworker asking them for updates, but she hasn't responded to it from what I can tell. Update. Last night, after she failed to call me or give her availability during the time frame I provided, she messaged me the evening before saying she can call during the morning. I sent her a follow-up message telling her I'm no longer available for a call and for her to send me a written overview of the project because the deadline is soon. At the same time, I updated my manager letting him know I'm still unable to get in contact with this coworker. If he asks why, I'll send him evidence. Last night at 9 p.m., 6 p.m. her time, I received a text message from her saying, "Hey, this is coworker. Feel free to call me if you have time today, ? Or tomorrow." It's starting to get ridiculous at this point. I reiterated that I'm not available and she needs to send me a written overview. I guess I'll just wait and see now. Update, May 15th, 2026, 2 months later. I finally got around to adding an update to my original post, but thought I'd also post an update since my original got so popular. I'm excited to share that I'm not in this role anymore, or dealing with this anymore. I was finally able to leave for a new role, but wanted to share what ended up happening for people still interested. Too long didn't read, I had a coworker join at my remote role that insists all our conversations need to be done verbally, even little updates and check-ins, and it was impossible to just have her message me things. She'd follow a routine where she'd ask to discuss something in a Teams meeting with me, only to then never join or respond when I'd message her asking where she is. Either hours or days later, she'd finally respond simply rescheduling the meeting again to another time, which she wouldn't join either. I posted about a situation I was in 2 months ago where she was refusing to share the information I needed so I could begin working on a project that was due soon. She kept insisting it needed to be discussed in a call, then never commit to a time for it. I ultimately ended up missing the deadline because of this. My manager was requesting updates from us, so I sent him a private message letting him know I've been unable to get in contact with this coworker. He then sent a direct message to the coworker asking her what was going on and for a check-in meeting with both of us to discuss. Now for the update, May 15th, 2 months later. After my last update, my coworker responded to my manager's request for an update with the message, "We were not able to find a time that worked when trying to connect for the project." At this point, I started getting really suspicious she was trying to pin the blame on me. So I sent my manager a private email with screenshots and timestamps, making it clear I made numerous attempts to contact that she ignored. He sent me a message back saying thanks and that he's been having similar issues trying to connect with her. During our check-in meeting, my coworker was acting really weird. She joined 7 minutes late with her webcam turned off, said it was because of a technical issue, then left the call again for another 5 minutes to restart her computer. When she rejoined again, she ended up still keeping her webcam off and claimed she couldn't figure it out. Finally, when my manager confronted her and asked why she's been unresponsive, she was quiet for a bit, then said, "Oh, sorry, you're breaking up. Could you repeat that?" The whole thing was really odd. This was the first time she's ever gotten technical issues, and the timing was a little too convenient. When she did get around to responding, she just repeated that me and her couldn't find a time to connect. I didn't argue with her. I already shared evidence that she's lying, so there was no point. But I was really disappointed that my manager didn't press her and just moved on. Also, when I finally asked her for a rundown on the project, she gave me almost nothing. She only gave a simple suggestion for an enchantment I could make. That says enhancement, what the fuck? She only gave a simple suggestion for an enhancement I could make. I was only able to get a real structure after I shared a document of my draft, and she added a table of contents that finally gave me a hint of what I needed to write. So in the end, I ended up suffering the most since I now needed to rush out the project in only a few days. My manager ended up requesting I CC him in all of our future conversations, but I really lost respect for the role after dealing with this. I've been searching for a new role for months and finally joined a new role 2 weeks ago, which has been like night and day. I'm just so relieved to be leaving all of that mess behind. Oh, I also did a bit of research into my coworker and realized she's offering professional services on her LinkedIn, which explains why she was so difficult to reach. She was likely working with multiple companies at once. It still doesn't explain all the weirdness or her not just being transparent with me that she's busy, but I thought that was interesting. Honestly, after the third or maybe even fourth meeting that she missed that she attempted to schedule, I would have started blind carbon copying emails to the manager, or even just CCing him up front and just being like, hey, I'm gonna start putting the manager on this one because, like, this is ridiculous. Like, you refuse any other methods of communication that would work well for me, and want me to use your preferred method that you won't even, actually allow me to contact you through. If your deadline is rapidly approaching and you're falling behind because you have a team member who's not able to or willing to communicate, you gotta let the manager know ASAP, because if they find out during a monthly check-in meeting, they're probably not going to be too thrilled to only find out about this during the check-in and not previously, and with the deadline rapidly approaching. Although hindsight's 2020 and it's really easy to look at OP and be like, hey, you should have done this. So let this be more of a general note to those of you who are listening, that if you're dealing with a coworker who's doing shit like this, a paper trail and an early warning is definitely within your best interest. My two favorite theories from the comments section is that 1, she's a North Korean who has infiltrated the US job market for easy money and that's why she's having connection issues, and 2, she is functionally illiterate and needs everything to be done via voice because she can't actually read or write. Just fun little tinfoil hat theories. My personal tinfoil hat theory, though, is that she was wanting to have everything done via voice because it'd be a lot harder for OP to actually, document what's going on in the meetings, unless OP records them. Because it's infinitely more easy to retroactively go and grab screenshots of messages than it is to go back in time and record a phone call that you didn't think to record at the time. That's my personal theory, though. Oh boy! Outro! Don't forget gamer subs. Use code KEYZ at checkout. Every purchase made supports the channel directly, and if you're not quite sure if you want to commit to purchasing from gamer subs quite yet because you don't want to risk not liking the flavor, guess what? Gamer subs offers free samples. This way you can get an idea if you'll actually like the product or not before you go and purchase some. And when you do purchase a tub, be sure to use code KEYZ at checkout. As for minor updates, I have the joyous task ahead of me of trying to pretty much learn how to do skim coating for an orange peel texture on walls because I fucking hate orange peel texture. You like it? Cool. I don't. I think it's a pain in the ass to paint. I don't like the texture. I don't like how it reflects light. I don't like how it looks on camera. So if I'm gonna be doing this little studio thingamabob properly, I gotta learn how to skim coat with mud. And by mud, I mean joint compound / whatever it's gonna be, followed by sanding it. And the size of the room, fuck. I'm not looking forward to that. Because the ceiling is also within my sights, and my neck is already begging me not to, but I've already committed halfway with a lot of the stuff, and, yeah. Oh, it's gonna be so great. I'm not gonna lie, there is a part of me that's just kind of debating on if I should just pay someone to do it, because so much could go wrong, and it could create so many more headaches, but it is very expensive, and, well, I don't know.